The 20 deadliest dictators in history. Throughout history, certain men have become synonymous with mass death. Today, we're going to rank the 20 deadliest dictators ever documented. The numbers you'll see are based on serious historical research, and they may shock you. These figures are estimates drawn from the work of recognized historians. Different sources can offer varying numbers, and some cases remain controversial. Here we present the ranges most widely accepted in academia. We've included only actual dictators and documented civilian deaths, executions, genocides, famines caused by policy. Deaths in battle are not counted. Ready? Let's go from 20th place to 1st. The least deadly, but no less terrible. 20th place, Ivan the Terrible, 100,000 victims. We begin with Ivan IV of Russia, the Terrible. The first Russian Tsar, he killed about 100,000 people during his reign of terror in the 16th century. He even murdered his own son in a fit of rage. He founded the Oprichnina, a secret police force that spread fear across Moscow. His methods of execution included public torture to intimidate the entire population. 19th place, Benito Mussolini, 300,000 victims. Benito Mussolini of Italy, 300,000 deaths, including brutal colonial wars in Africa and concentration camps. He created modern fascism and inspired Hitler. In the end, he was hung upside down. Mussolini was also responsible for using chemical weapons in Ethiopia. His massive propaganda machine turned his regime into a model for other totalitarian movements. 18th place, Idi Amin, 300,000 victims. Idi Amin of Uganda. In just 8 years in power, he killed 300,000 Ugandans. He expelled the entire Indian population from the country and proclaimed himself King of Scotland. Yes, he was completely deranged. His government collapsed after he lost a war with Tanzania. He died in exile in Saudi Arabia without ever facing trial. 17th place, Francisco Franco, 400,000 victims. Francisco Franco of Spain. 400,000 deaths during the Civil War and 36 years of dictatorship. His opponents were thrown from planes into the sea. He died in bed and was mummified for decades. To this day, Spain debates his legacy and removes Francoist symbols from public spaces. His body was exhumed from the Valley of the Fallen in 2019 after a court ruling. 16th place, Ho Chi Minh, 400,000 victims. Ho Chi Minh of Vietnam. 400,000 deaths, mainly during brutal land reforms where landowners were executed publicly. To the West, he was a hero of independence. To many of his people, a dictator. His followers created re-education camps that imprisoned thousands after the war. Ho Chi Minh's official image is still venerated in the country today. So far, we're in the hundreds of thousands, but get ready, now we're entering the territory of 500,000. 15th place, Nicolae Ceausescu, 500,000 victims. Nicolae Ceausescu of Romania, 500,000 deaths over 24 years of dictatorship. He banned contraceptives to boost population growth, creating thousands of orphans. He was executed alongside his wife on Christmas 1989. His regime built the gigantic Palace of the Parliament, a symbol of oppression and megalomania. His personality cult was so extreme, it controlled even children's television programming. 14th place, Mengistu Mariam, 670,000 victims. Mengistu Haile Mariam of Ethiopia, 670,000 deaths during the Red Terror. He executed opponents and left bodies in the streets as a warning. He is still alive today, exiled in Zimbabwe. He was supported by the Soviet Union during the Cold War. In 2006, he was convicted in absentia of genocide. 13th place, Suharto, 900,000 victims. Suharto of Indonesia, 900,000 deaths, including massacres of communists in 1965 and genocide in East Timor. The West supported his 32-year dictatorship because he was anti-communist. Suharto became one of the world's richest men through state corruption. He fell from power in 1998 after massive protests. 12th place, Saddam Hussein, 1 million victims. Saddam Hussein of Iraq, 1 million deaths in wars, internal repression, and the use of chemical weapons against the Kurds. He was found hiding in a hole and executed in 2006. During his rule, he built lavish palaces while the population starved. His Ba'ath Party maintained absolute control for decades. 11th place, Omar al-Bashir, 1.5 million victims. Omar al-Bashir of Sudan, 1.5 million deaths, mainly in Darfur. He was the first sitting president indicted by the International Criminal Court. He was overthrown in 2019 and is now imprisoned. He maintained power for 30 years through military coups and militias. His trial for crimes against humanity is still ongoing. 10th place, the Kim dynasty, 1.6 million victims. The Kim dynasty of North Korea, 3 generations, Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and Kim Jong-un. 1.6 million deaths in concentration camps, and yes, they are still in power today, 75 years later. Accounts from defectors reveal extreme starvation and public executions. The regime maintains a caste system determining who is allowed to live in the capital. 9th place, Pol Pot, 2.2 million victims. Pol Pot of Cambodia, 2,200,000 deaths in just 4 years, 25% of Cambodia's population. He wanted to return the country to the 14th century. Even wearing glasses was a crime punishable by death. He died under house arrest. The killing fields became infamous worldwide. To this day, mass graves continue to be uncovered. Pause for a moment. We are talking about millions of human lives. Every number represents destroyed families, interrupted dreams. Never forget that behind the statistics are real people. 8th place, Leopold II, 9 million victims. Estimate based on population decline. Leopold II of Belgium, 9 million Congolese dead. He turned the Congo into his personal property. Hands were cut off if rubber quotas weren't met. The king who never set foot in his own colony. The Belgian atrocities inspired global campaigns against colonialism. His reign remains one of Africa's darkest chapters. 7th place, Chiang Kai-shek, 10 million victims. Numbers disputed among historians. Chiang Kai-shek of nationalist China, 10 million deaths in civil wars and repression. He lost to Mao Zedong and fled to Taiwan, where he continued dictatorship for decades. Taipei still has statues honoring him. During his rule, martial law lasted until 1987. Some see him as an anti-communist hero, others as a cruel despot. 6th place, Hirohito, 14 million victims. Responsibility still debated. Emperor Hirohito of Japan, 14 million civilians killed across Asia during World War II. Historians still argue about his direct responsibility, but Imperial Japan committed massive atrocities in his name. After the war, he was spared prosecution to preserve the country's stability. His reign lasted until 1989. Now we arrive at the top 5. These men were responsible for more deaths than entire world wars. Numbers that defy human comprehension. Fifth place, Timur, Tamerlane, 17 million victims. Medieval sources may be exaggerated. Timur, or Tamerlane, in the 14th century. 17 million deaths in his conquests. He literally built pyramids out of the skulls of his enemies. Some regions of Asia took centuries to recover from his devastation. His empire stretched from India to the Mediterranean. His name remains synonymous with terror in Persian and Arab chronicles. The Great Genocides. 4th place, Adolf Hitler. 18 million civilian victims. Adolf Hitler of Germany. 18 million civilian deaths, including 6 million Jews in the Holocaust. He turned genocide into an industrial science. He created the modern concept of mass extermination. He died in a bunker. His crimes were prosecuted at Nuremberg, defining new international laws. His legacy stands as an eternal warning against racial hatred. Third place, Joseph Stalin. 23 million victims. Joseph Stalin of the Soviet Union. 23 million deaths through purges, deportations, and artificial famines like the Ukrainian Holodomor. He killed more Soviets than Hitler killed Germans. Ironically, he helped defeat the Nazis. His regime controlled every form of expression. His personality cult was so pervasive that it only began to fade after his death. Second place, Genghis Khan, 40 million victims. Estimates based on medieval sources. Genghis Khan of the Mongol Empire. 40 million deaths in the 13th century. His conquests were so devastating, they altered the global climate. So many people died that forests regrew where cities once stood. His tactics of psychological terror are still studied by modern militaries. Despite this, he also promoted commercial and cultural exchange. And now, the dictator who killed more people than anyone else in human history. A man who erased more lives than all the others combined. Number 1, the greatest genocide. First place, Mao Zedong, 65 million victims. Estimates range from 40 to 80 million. Mao Zedong of China, 65 million Chinese killed, mainly during the disastrous Great Leap Forward, the deadliest famine ever recorded. The dictator who killed more people than the entire current population of the United Kingdom. He is still officially revered in China. Mao's cult of personality remains visible in monuments and currency. His legacy is still a highly sensitive topic in Chinese politics. To put this in perspective, Mao killed more people than the entire population of France today. Stalin wiped out the equivalent of Australia's population. Hitler created the modern industrial genocide. Altogether, these 20 dictators were responsible for over 200 million deaths. That's more than the entire population of Brazil. Every life mattered. Every number represents a real person with dreams, families, and a future. Certain patterns repeat themselves with disturbing frequency. All of them used mass propaganda to dehumanize their enemies. All promised redemptive utopias and delivered hell instead. All started out small before becoming monsters. And all thrived on the silence of bystanders. How they began. Hitler was a failed painter, Stalin a seminary student, Mao a librarian, Pol Pot a teacher. Ordinary people who turned into machines of destruction. The lesson? Evil can be born anywhere, even in the most banal places. The same signs still exist today. Extreme polarization that turns opponents into enemies, hate speech disguised as opinion, attacks on a free press that obscure the truth, cult of personality that idolizes leaders beyond question, dehumanization of entire groups. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it often rhymes. Today, dictators have tools Hitler could never have imagined. Digital surveillance that tracks every movement. Propaganda algorithms that manipulate mass emotions. Weapons of destruction on a global scale. But we also have new forms of resistance. A free internet. Human rights organizations. International courts capable of prosecuting crimes against humanity. Genocides don't happen overnight. They are gradual processes that feed on indifference and apathy. Ordinary people can recognize these patterns and stop them. Each of us has a responsibility to speak up when we witness injustice, to protect vulnerable neighbors, to hold authorities accountable. Education is our best defense, and memory is our vaccine against genocide. Never forget, When good people stay silent, monsters thrive. Why study all this? 200 million lives lost, families destroyed, cultures erased, dreams cut short. We study these horrors not to glorify violence, but to prevent it. Every memory, every testimony, every history lesson is an act of prevention. The best tribute to the victims is ensuring there will be no others. But there is hope. International courts today judge war criminals. Organizations monitor human rights abuses. Young people mobilize, build networks, and pressure governments. The arc of history is long, but it bends toward justice. And you? How can you help make sure this never happens again? Educate yourself. Vote consciously. Speak up against injustice, even when it's hard. Support organizations defending human rights. Protect those around you. If you want to take action, I've left links in the description to museums, documentaries, and institutions that work to preserve historical memory and prevent genocide. Prevention begins with each of us.